YouTube. This is Mickey D bringing you episode 45 of Stationeers. So yeah, it's been kind of fun. Not really. So it turns out, I think everybody knows by now, I'm on the beta branch. Radiators are broken in the beta branch. So which strangely enough, it's kind of working for the greenhouse. But if we come over here, even though it's cooling the greenhouse, let's see, and sometimes it only wants to read that. We are at 269 degrees on that line. And it was up at 687 earlier. I expanded the line, added more coolant to it, or, pollution, basically. And it dropped down the temperature because of that. But as you can see, it's just going to slowly climb and climb and climb. So I went on the forums, checked around, and yeah, I'm not the only one having it. There was a note in the update. One of the things is they were doing the initial pass of the world atmospherics. I'm assuming in, getting an atmosphere for Mars and any other planets they add. Something in the atmospherics, radiators aren't transferring heat. So the heat's just building up in the pipe. Yeah, so, and unfortunately that means if we run the greenhouse, or if we run the furnace, we have no way to cool the greenhouse, because we're not going to have any way to pull the heat out of the CO2 really before it gets to the greenhouse, most likely. And as you can see, as I said in the last episode, I did do some work off camera, which is basically I just kind of tied the data lines in for this and ran the radiator system outside, which has definitely made, and that's when I kind of realized that something was really, really, off, because the greenhouse, the radiator line being hot, I thought, okay, well, we dumped a ton of heat in it from the furnace. I just need to expand it, add more radiators, get rid of the heat, but then I added this system in, and it's literally not really cooled at all, or it's so slow that it's not really doing anything. I do see a little bit of temperature range in there, so there's something going on, but that might just be the pipes bleeding off in the base. Who knows? And the drawback is now we have all these running. It's killing the base power. And we do have this expansion tank in now, so if we dump from the furnace, or we drain the base, which is it gets around that issue as well, where we had multiple vents pulling in, and it was making the lines explode because basically the filters couldn't keep up. Now we have this tank to act as basically an expansion tank, so that kind of solves two problems, which were basically the same problem. Is if we dump too much into the system at once, it kills the the filtration could not handle the capacity, and it would make a line blow. So hopefully that should be all taken care of now, but unfortunately we're not really getting any cooling. So it's if we dump into it, it's basically just going to sit there, and kind of that issue where we haven't before, where these are, yeah, see, 740 PA, where I had kind of had that issue before, and I didn't know if there was an update or not. And anyway, it kind of self-corrected itself, so I'm assuming it was something update-wise. And same thing, this is still reading that tank over there, so we can kind of just come in the door and see how much is in, the system. Yeah, so I did change this out to a digital valve, just because it was taking so long to fill the, these tanks. Because now you can dump it in there, and obviously there's a little bit less in the line. I've just got it turned down low, and because the first one I forgot to, and then I blew it up, which was nice, because I kind of had to throw it in the middle of the floor because I couldn't make it to the other thing to dump it out in time. But and I've just kind of been doing this to top it off a little bit because I've got them set. I did read on the forums that having these set at about 1 MPa is works, I guess, a lot better than having it set at the 100 kPa. So I'm trying that out, and obviously because it hasn't cooled, the pressure is going to drop when the line cools. So I wanted to make sure it didn't pull stuff in. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to override this, which the easy way to do it I found is, hey, since it reads off the sensor for the tank, well, actually this line, if there's anything in it, then by shutting that off, it basically causes it to zero out. So we can actually shut it off because I think we were down to about 20% on the power. Well, we're charging now, so we're dropping a lot lower at night, but we're not draining the system. Which is a good thing. And speaking of power, the beta branch, they added a new machine. Well, they've actually added a couple of things. One of them is, before I get into the machine, so the flashing 8% hunger, which you can see they've changed the icon. They have, they've added which I guess I can show you in the settings. There's now, which is temporary because I guess they realize, they've added the hunger system, but the food's not really there. So, you got to eat 2.5 granola bars to fill up your food. So it's not really balanced at all. So of course, instead of just making granola bars, like eat one and it fills you up to 100% or something, now we have a slider, so you can set it, and 1 is the default. So if you set it to 0, it basically turns it off. And they did specify in the update notes that is temporary. So, I guess once they get the, and I don't know what the starting condition is. Oh, I think that's if you start with the crates or not. So if you're playing on a server. But that is temporary. So once they get the food straightened out, they're going to, get rid of it. The other thing they added, is, and I can probably see it right in here, is they have added a gas generator. So it runs off the volatiles, oxygen, and it will produce power. And I don't know, I don't know if it's in the generator kit or if it's in, gas fuel generator right there. So we could actually make that. It puts out, supposedly, I guess, a ton of power, and there is a portable version of it as well, that you can give it a fuel canister. So, like, you would either, an hydrogen-oxygen mix that you would put in a welder. It will run off that and a battery, and it will fill up I think they said the portable one will fill up like 1 large battery on a tank. I don't know if that meant a base battery or if it meant one of these. I'm thinking a base battery because supposedly the fixed, station version of it puts out an insane amount of power. And they're assuming they did put in the notes that is the initial release of it. So obviously they haven't balanced it at all. It's just, right now it puts out, I think, if you run it for literally 10 seconds, it will charge all the batteries on the base. So pretty interesting. So we might check that out. We can plumb it into the base, hydrogen, oxygen. I'd rather, I think, use that than use the coal. We might still leave the coal. I don't know. I kind of just want to get rid of the coal because we don't have to run a hopper to it. We'll have volatiles pop to it, and we can just, oh, I got an autosave going on. We can pop it maybe right in right here. Yeah, because we can just run pipes down and tie into it. But we can just change this circuit to run it instead of running the solid generator, which really basically just point it to the machine because all this circuit does is say on off, and without changing too much. So that is, I don't know if I get that to that today. That might be in a stream tomorrow. But what I kind of want to work on is I'm tempted to do the greenhouse, but the problem is we're like really low on steel. So we're gonna actually, we're pretty much out of steel. We have like 1, 2 pieces of steel, something like that. And let's see here. Actually, so we might be, yes, we are completely out of steel. I used the last of it. It's one of the reasons that this is not filled in because I did run out of steel, and we still got to throw a light in up here too, which will probably just tie in off of that, the power circuit. And you can see I need to do grading and stuff. But I did run some in the furnace. I did see some in the the little furnace, arc furnace. I did see some reports too that there is some bugs with the furnace as well. So similar to, well, okay, there's some bugs and there's some changes is what I've read. So supposedly now the furnace, and we can test it real quick actually. And we'll just throw that in there. So we were getting the issue with the iron ore. You throw it in there and it wasn't going right. So we're going to, and supposedly if we do this, we'll dump this out. And wow, that's going really slow now. But you know what? We might want to change that to a volume pump. You know what? I think that's what we'll do. Because I just realized before we were dumping into this and the line was empty. So that's why it was immediately dumping in. But now we had, you know, about 300 to 500 kPa in the line. We're dumping into it. It's equalizing. So let's go change that to a valve real quick. And I'm assuming they're, oh yeah, they should be over here. Not a valve. We want to change it to a volume pump. Oh, and do we got enough stuff to? Yes. Okay. So, and luckily they're the same setup. You know, wires on the same side, everything. So we can just pop it out, pop the other one in, and this should hopefully work quite a bit better. So we're gonna toss that over there, and. Is it wrench or is it drill? Wrench. Okay, so we'll turn this around because this will let us be able to pump out quick. If we turn that on, we should see, yeah, it's a lot faster, and we can probably turn the thing up because really when we run this, we just want to dump everything out. Still not as fast as when it was, you know, the line was empty. And I could do, we could actually put, now that I'm thinking about it, we could actually put a volume pump on this line over here. It might actually be worth it. Because right now the filters and the ACs are what's pulling everything through the system. Right, because they're gonna try to pull anything in front of them through the machine itself, and then, you know, obviously then it'll just stay in the lines and in the tanks. Well, if we put a and I'll have to go out. Actually, we can just go through the wall. So here's our radiator system right now, which is basically doesn't do anything, and then this is the return line on the furnace. And in with that is, and I want to say it's right, there's a T-junction in here. So the furnace line comes in, and then anything else we dump into the system, no matter where, you know, whether it's coming off of the air intakes from the base, the greenhouse filtration system, you know, wherever, any of the canister empty station there, it ties in, and then basically it gets combined into this line. So I threw some radiators on there, and we might even expand that out to, you know, try to cool down the furnace before it even gets into the system as much as we can. And my thought was I was just going to run radiator line all along here as well, so it can cool it before it even gets into the system. to try to get rid of as much of it as possible. Because right now, this is, unless the ACs and stuff are pulling it through, this is going to equalize, and if there's any pressure in this line, then it's going to, it's going to do that. So that being said, if we put a volume pump in there, it's basically, there's not going to be, well, it'll cool as it runs through, but it's not going to sit in the line. So, we could always put a volume pump. Well, we have one right there, which is going to pump into here, and it's probably about the same thing. My thought was is we could put a volume pump up here. It would leave this line empty. That way, when we dump the furnace, it's going to pull through. So that would be quick. But we'll expand this out. I did, the radiators work a little bit better when they're covered. So since, sun comes up over there, there's no sun coming in this side. I covered the front, the top, and that side in hopes that that would fix the AC issue. And then when that didn't even do anything, that's when I went and looked on the forums and stuff and saw that, oh, yeah, radiators are broken. So anyway, a whole bunch of fiddling and messing with stuff just to find out that, yeah, they're broken. So I would have just probably ignored it for now and gone on to something else. But, when they are fixed, which should hopefully be relatively soon, then they would, it'll be all ready to run. So until we start having really bad power issues, I'm just going to let this run. It is working just very, very, very slowly. And ACs are also kind of broken right now. So see, we've dropped 24 point. Okay, say we're dropping a little bit, but almost nothing. So until they fix the radiators, I'm not going to worry about AC. Unless it starts killing the base power, we're just going to let them run. It'll still keep the filtration running as well. So, which it might be a good idea to, at some point, maybe to put a bypass valve in. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. I was just thinking in case, we didn't want to, or for some reason couldn't do the cooling, as in the devs have broken the radiators, we could bypass it and go to the filtration system. But, I don't think it's really going to be that big of an issue right now. So what I wanted to do on this, which should hopefully be empty by now, and supposedly we should be able to test this. Now, supposedly where these off gas, right there, that is what is messing up the furnace. So there, and I guess that is the intention that, that was always the intention that the furnace was going to work like that. They just never gotten it work before. So we've gotten pollution and CO2 off of it, which is, great because, so basically now, which is going to be kind of annoying, especially if you're trying to automate a furnace, is you have to dump out the pressure from the stuff you put in there. And this actually makes me kind of want to make two. I want to test something too on this. Kind of makes me want to make two furnaces, but I don't think that's going to work. I think when we do this, we're going to see that it's going to create the gases again, which is kind of a bug glitch because you're basically making it outgas twice. But I suspect that's what's going to happen unless it tracks somehow that that piece of ore has been in the furnace, which I don't think they would have done that yet if they are. Which is great because that'll give us a really good kind of cheaty way to make CO2. But so basically now that this is dumped out, now you have to pressurize the furnace to run the iron. So basically you need to put everything in there, vent out the furnace, then pressurize your fuel and oxygen, or your fuel mixture, and we're almost out of power, to run the furnace without it basically messing it up because, oops, I'm going to put that in there. because you've got so much CO2 in there that it's basically just immediately putting out the fire. Yeah, and what I wanted to test is, so if we drop this out, pick it up, we put it back in there, is our pressure going to jump? Yep. So it's, yeah, so you wouldn't be able to do two furnaces, because my thought was maybe have one furnace, bleed off the gases, drop it in there, and then let the vents run. So if we want to make steel and stuff, basically, we're going to have to put it in there first, let it vent out, and then run the furnace. And we can shut this off. We don't need that venting now. All right, now on to get stuff done. Now that I've kind of explained the issues that we're facing right now. So obviously radiators are broken. We're going to run the furnace. We're going to generate a ton of heat. And it's going to bottleneck the whole entire system even more because it's going to be waiting to run through these, which are working decent. I mean, it's set at 30, so, you know, if these ones get to 30, it should kind of pump right through since it's already at 30. And, you know, I'm assuming 4 should be enough we should be able to drop the temperature down and get to 30 degrees. And if we don't need that many, then, you know, we can either just pull one out and bypass it, or maybe we'll just add a bypass valve so when we don't need it. But our power seems to be running fine, so we'll have to see if we keep going lower or not. But I know we dropped as low as 20 right now, so not ideal, but we're not going so low that, you know, we're not running out completely of power. But so well, we've got to smelt stuff. We're going to have to do that. We're going to make steel. So it's going to be, I guess we're going to just load it up first, let it vent out, and then we'll get a big batch of steel made up. We can run it all at once. And we'll do like our normal, you know, like 300-400 steel. And yeah, we'll just do like 400. So that, yeah, that should give us 3. And that should keep us going for quite a while. So what I want to do is, I talked about adding a room onto the base. I want to get that done. I guess we can turn that on and let it vent out. Let's see what we get. Did we get anything different? Because we had the coal in there. And now we still basically, looks like we basically get the same thing. I don't really get why we're getting pollution before we've, you know, kind of even done anything with it. But, all right. Let's take these iron sheets. So, and I did do up some iron in the furnace, and I did a little bit of copper. But we need to make steel frames, steel sheets, so we can get some more framings going. Unfortunately, I wanted to put it behind here, but, you know, because of the way everything's going right now, we kind of, you know, need that now. But I'd like to get a room set up, because obviously they're working on adding features in. You know, they've added the, you know, the first pass on the food. They're adding the generator. I would assume, you know, the medical stuff is probably going to be coming soon. So I want to get like all the stuff we've kind of skipped over for now, the med bay, all that kind of stuff going. And we got an autosave. I do want to get crops planted, since the filtration system, the ACs are running. It's kind of, everything should be cooled, whatever, you know, trickles through the system. We should, you know, be able to grow the crops in there, because strangely enough, even though the radiator pipes are getting so hot, it's been maintaining the temperature fine. So there's not an issue with pulling the heat out. It's just getting it out of the pipes once you've accumulated it. All right, we dumped out. Good. So we'll kick that in, and we'll turn that back down. I had it turned up because we were doing the, trying to figure out why it wasn't running right. And I can double check because I haven't made steel in a while. I'm pretty sure it's 3 to 1. All I can think of is Greg Tech in Minecraft for for coal ratios for steel. Let me see. And I have read supposedly you can raise chickens now. I don't know if somebody did it legit or not. I mean, the eggs do show as being fertilized. So it would be... Oh, there we go. So yeah, 3 iron, 1 carbon. Okay, so we should be good there. And are we... Why are we not pressurizing? Oh, did we not... yeah, there we go. We must have drained... Oh, I think before when I was doing the testing with it, yeah, I drained it. So let's get that. We need to get logic chips put in there now, since they basically, the devs have said they're not going to fix the computers, the logic computers, anytime soon. The impression I got was anytime soon or ever. So we definitely need to change those over to logic chips. I might do that this weekend, just because it would be good to not have to fiddle with this. And hopefully we should have the base pressurized again. Once we add this room on, we should be able to pressurize it and keep it pressurized, hopefully for quite a while again. I mean, we had it pressurized for a while, and then obviously we've been messing with systems. I probably will, between episodes, jump into change the world type, and so I can at least turn off the flashing hunger symbol, because it kind of keeps distracting me with, I'm so used to that being like, oh, the power, oh, it's flashing, I gotta go, yeah, so where are we gonna push through now on this? And so, I'm trying to thinking about maybe doing something a little bit different than what I planned. So plan was before is punch a doorway through here, which reminds me I wanted to make a door for over in the AC room, and have it be right through there. And then that way the thought would be is we're kind of up at the front of the base. If we need to go in there, whatever, we can do that. Now I'm kind of thinking about, I did kind of want it close to the greenhouse because I was planning on having the food processing stuff in there as well. So my thought is maybe it's just widen this whole room and then kind of break it almost like in half, and kind of have, a section of it for the living area. Still have it be a completely separate room, because I'd like to have it, we'll have it a separate room with a door and everything. But that'll kind of give us some more room, because we still get the tool manufacturer to make, who says they're not going to add some more machines. And I'd kind of, at some point we're probably going to want to have conveyors, or not, I don't want to use conveyors, I don't think, chutes. But I'm waiting for some type of inventory system. So I'm thinking about just pushing this whole wall out quite a bit. I don't know, maybe almost, it'll probably go too big if we double it, but we can make spacious rooms. And then we can add the tool manufacturer in here as well, because really all these are basically just power. That's really all the only thing we're running to these. So easy to move around. not like the third time changing the filtration and AC system. Yeah. Um, so I think that's my thought on that. And are we up to, okay, so now we should be able to light, go, and steel. Look at that. So yes, that's the, and I have a feeling like if we drop iron in there now, it's basically going to immediately kill it again. And I'm going to test. I'm pretty sure it will. So we drop it in there, and then yeah, see immediately because of all the pollution and the CO2 it makes, it basically immediately dampens the fire. So yeah, that's the way you've got to run it now. So go ahead and pull that back out. Yeah, but hey, at least we know what we got to do to get it to run correctly now. So what is this doing over here? So yeah, good thing we put that expansion tank in, because running the furnace quite a couple of times would definitely, which didn't really jump the temperature up too much. 343, so that's not bad. Yeah, I want to see. I mean, my whole thought is okay, we get this all revamped, and then we can run it, and we can see, you know, how it, so we're, yeah, 73, 71, 73.1. It's going to climb up for a little while. Not too bad, though. Though I should go see how much of it is actually dumped out. Obviously, we burned almost all the fuel. There was a little bit, but not bad. So a nice clean burn. But we'll, because I did want to do a test run before we plant any of the plants. So we got almost all the pressure out. So yeah, that's not bad, especially since, so we're at 2,000 degrees Celsius over here, and we were at 73 here. Obviously, that's probably not going to be really accurate because the radiators aren't radiating anything, and the line wasn't really pressurized. Obviously, the more we dump in there, the more heat is going to be spread out through it. You know, it is a big line, but you know, you condense it all back down, and the temperature is going to go back up. So we still got to pull all that heat out of there, but it definitely, which is kind of strange because, you know, we basically pulled out stuff that was 2,000 degrees and Celsius, if not higher. Yeah, oh, well, Kelvin, okay. Oh, yeah, 2,176 Celsius, yeah. So, you know, it's not really accurate because really it should still be that temperature. I mean, yeah, the furnace is that, but the gas would, I think, be even hotter. Anyway, so enough with radiators and cooling. I'm just going to completely ignore those for now. I do want to get a gas generator in, but I really want to play with that. But I think we're going to get some frames and stuff made up so we can do the expansion first. I might do another stream tonight. Yeah, I probably will. It's a Friday, why not? And get the, we'll work on the generator on the next stream. Because I do want to, you know, that could definitely be, I definitely want to swap out the, I'd rather save the coal to make steel, or, you know, I could definitely see him at some point adding another use for carbon. So we're just going to kind of open all this up right now so we can push out this wall. I'm actually thinking about something slightly different. And that is, we do the push out, but we do the push out on only like part of it. Well, technically, okay, we push out the whole thing, but instead of, because I want to leave the kind of machines like the open area, um, and then this additional room, have it kind of like, you know, in the corner, so it'll make this kind of more like of an L-shaped room, I guess. I'm guessing, I think my thought is making this more of a hallway in the front right here. So we'll leave it like too wide. So this is more of a hallway. We'll get the machines out of here. I think I like that. And then that'll kind of, so we can have, you know, a room here, and we'll have like a room with the machines. And we'll kind of probably leave them with the machines kind of open, since we're going to be running in there and out of there all the time. I don't know. Or we do a door. It's not like the doors are hard to walk through. Oh, yeah, wrench. But we'll get this opened up. So, yeah, we'll probably have a bit of, and luckily I've always kind of planned on doing something on this wall anyway. So there's no, the only thing that's in this wall literally is this little radiator system. Um, so, and whatever wiring is basically running up the front here. That's, and I think that just goes to the light, and then that's for the wall system, and that's to the other light. So, definitely an easy wall to work on, not like the other kind of, you know, those are full of pipes and whatnot. Okay. And kind of wish they changed how the hands work. It'd be nice to have one hand dedicated tools, and then the other, kind of like how the bags, you know, you've got a tool slots. I know some people are probably going, oh God, no, not that, but it would always leave you a hand free to pick stuff up, you know. Okay, let's get those combined. Try to keep this kind of organized so we don't get a huge mess here. Actually, we can just go ahead and start putting these down. And then we've got to push our, I should just dig a hole and drop those in there. Because every time and actually there is a hole kind of over here. Unfortunately, it's right in front of the base, but, you know, hey. Because we're never going to use any of that stuff. We're way past any of that. Actually, we just kind of skipped over them. Though I did think about sticking the portable one in the greenhouse, is kind of extra cooling, but I probably figured it wasn't really worth it. All right. Yeah, my thought is one of these days is, since this is kind of a pain anyway, since every time I come around this side of the base I have to jump over it, is, you know, fill it in with blocks. I'm so surprised they haven't fixed the light shining through the walls yet. That's been going on for quite a while now. Yeah, we'll take the frames. Oh, we're going to have to dig some down too, aren't we? Yeah, that's right, because this was the high side of the, when I picked out the base spot. That's right, easy enough. So I'm thinking, you know, we could actually, oh, autosave. So, yeah, we might do that. So I'm thinking, so this is, the greenhouse is on the other side of the wall for the, or the airlock for the greenhouse is on the other side of the wall there. So my thought is that we're going to push this out, and we'll make I'm not even sure how much space we need. That's going to give us a 2 by, yeah, so we need bigger than that, definitely. And we might do something like a 3 by. And then maybe what we'll do is push this out as well. I try not to make it just a giant cube. The base is enough of a cube as it is, especially since we can't do any angled blocks yet. But I think pushing it out, and now I'm getting to the point where I can't see. Oh, yeah, let's actually click. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to go dig some of that down. Hopefully without making too much of a mess. If we want to be really nice about it, we could use the pick. It's about the only thing it's worth, unless you run out of power, run out of jetpack, and you need to emergency dig yourself out of a hole, I guess. It does have a couple of uses. It's good for if you need to fine-tune something you've dug out and you don't want to use the drill, because you can, select pretty much what you click at's what's going to go away. It doesn't, have a kind of like as big as of an area. So it's nice. It's easy to make a nice straight line with it if you need to. There we go. Oh. All right. So we'll do something. So what I'm thinking is let's see. This gives us 2 more. I guess we'll start laying it out. There we go. And let's go ahead and pull down. Pull down this. Oh, I already swapped it once. There we go. And get rid of these. I wonder if they're ever going to add the structure stuff. So, what was it? Planet Nomads did that. So if you structurally, you compromise the structure, it'll collapse. Let's see. Yeah, we can go ahead and pull out that. I think will work. And grinder. Actually, we don't. Oh, that's a wall. Okay, that's why it won't combine. Oh, steel frame, steel frame, steel frame, steel frame, steel frame. Did I? Oh, that's right. You only stacked at 30. I always swear those stacked at 50. All right. And how many do we have? About. That's going to be wall. Steel frames, 30. 19. It might be enough to start. I have a feeling we're still going to need more because we still got to put the ceiling on. And, of course, we're going to do the walls too high like we always do. So, 7 walls. All right. So, yeah, frames. Grab that stack. See how far we get on that. So, let's see. If we do crowbar. So if we say if this is going to be wall here now, so we'll come in the airlock and basically have kind of like this hallway. And we'll have our furnace room. We'll have the filtration and AC room. We'll have our tank storage and fill, greenhouse. We'll have, I think we'll stick the room, this will be like the medical and everything, living area sort of thing. We'll have the machines up here mainly because the furnace is over here, so we don't want to smelt stuff and then be running all the way. Yeah, so maybe we'll go ahead and push out that corner. Okay, we'll drop those grates. Yeah, so this is going to be one of those episodes where pretty much we're just building the whole time. But I want to get it done before we get too much farther, because we're kind of throwing stuff in places now. I was looking for, steel plates. I want to weld these up, so we're not tripping on stuff as we try to, or falling in holes. I don't think we have too much that needs to be, actually I don't really think we have anything right now that needs to be run underneath the floor. Maybe well, no, not under this section. We wouldn't need to. We can come up for the power from the power room down below. We can come up where the wall is probably, or we can just run it underneath the floor grating. And I think we're going to need to make, if I was thinking about it, I should have just filled them in one, because that's enough to keep us from falling through. Also, if I thought about it, could it be made steel sheets? Which we might have. Oh, one. Awesome. Luckily, they don't take that long. Steel sheets. A few more. All right. Yeah, we had a stack of 50 yesterday. But we used those up expanding the AC room, so. Oh, yeah, it didn't weld that, did it? Nope. Okay. All right. Yeah, luckily these do not take. And how much steel did we burn through? Oh, we still got plenty. Okay. Yeah, steel sheets don't take too much resource-wise, but the frames use up quite a bit more. I was actually tempted on just moving the room down far enough so we could look into the. Well, no, we don't want to do that, because then we'll block the greenhouse for the sunlight. Yeah, I do hope they add some type of artificial light in. Especially if I want to do like an underground base or something. Get this walkable. And then we'll try laying out some walls and see kind of what we end up with. I'm not going to completely enclose it yet. I think I want to try to get all the machines built, get them placed, at least get them built and placed. That way, I don't want to get the room built and then be placing everything and then realize that, oh, we should have made the room like one wider, or something like that. So because that would last thing I want to do is, we already have to punch enough holes through the walls as it is. try to avoid it as much as possible. Yeah, I don't do the fake enthusiasm. I actually get compliments on I have a calming voice. Um, I actually the overly happy YouTubers kind of drive me away because, for one, nobody's ever always that happy unless they're on drugs, um, and for two, it just gets annoying, especially at least for me personally. Um, but this isn't really a game where you go jumping around and giggling and laughing as you're starving and trying to keep your base from catching on fire. Oh, 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 and we need power. Not to say there isn't some excitement and stuff. I mean, there's a few episodes where, things blew on fire, got knocked out, parts of the base exploded. I get more excited then. And do we still have frames left? Yeah. All right, so let's see what we end up with here. So we definitely don't want to go any farther this way, so we can go ahead and stick there. And that'll be a good reminder, because we definitely don't want to block the greenhouse. All right. And we're going to let that make more steel sheets, because we will definitely need them. I'll just stack them up. The question is are we going to need steel for anything else? Because it's all in there right now. Oh, and we might just do this for the fabricator, just so we don't have to keep bouncing between machines. I really should use this thing more often. Let me see. So we don't have the reagent processor. We do need that, which means we're going to need another desk as well. And no, we don't need to make two. What else do we need? We are going to need some doors. We'll need some active vents. We are going to have to run a line over from the base air system. And okay, first of all, let's do the main things that are going to be in the room, like the med bay, the cryo tube right there. So we definitely okay, cryo tube. What is it? Med bay. Oh, really? It starts at the top of the list every time. We gotta make nuclear batteries one of these. We need to get some of that alloys and stuff going. I might do that this weekend. It's way past time for us to actually have like nuclear batteries. Hydroponics, Snyder. I do want to make. I need to make a suit stand as well. Though it's not like. There's not really too much reason to take off the suit. But we should actually just go ahead and make one of those as well. Because not two. Oh, I hate sometimes, and I know it's an early access, but it would be nice if they could kind of standardize which scrolls work and which ones don't, or which ones are just autosave, are decorative. Oh, thanks. Now, I'm learning the game as we go along, but I do enjoy it. I like the technical aspects of it, and made some mistakes here and there, and I'm sure I'll make some more. But it is fun, and it is good learning. where do we have for, oh, furniture. Yeah. So, how many there's, we could throw in the room with the med bay and stuff, we could throw the chairs and whatnot in. And the furniture is the desk. So we're going to need at least one of those. One, two, let's just say three. If we don't use it, we can scrap it. And I really hope they do something with this interface. I'm kind of realizing why I don't usually use the fabricator. 'Cause even though as much as punching the buttons to go left and right over and over and over again, it's still not, I don't know. This is kind of cumbersome using this, but kid sleeper. I believe that is the, oh, what is this sleeper? I'm assuming that's a bed. I thought they had a, don't they have a med bay in here as well? I haven't made one in, well, not in this map yet. And I believe some of this stuff doesn't really have a use yet, but, oh, suit storage. Yep, I do want that, though I want that out in the airlock. Oh, hey, look. Yeah, AC is using a ton of power. Remember that? Oh, you know what? Oh, hey, there's a nice little design flaw we figured out on the base. So we got that awesome circuit. Oh, I wonder if we were running on it. You know the circuit that I forgot to put in? Well, two parts I forgot to put in. Yeah, it did run. Yeah, so we were running off the generator. Well, it's good to know it kicked in. For two, we need to put a giant flashing light so that when it kicks in that generator, we know. So if we're not looking at, the power LCD, we know that it's kicked it in. So now in hindsight, it may have been worth it to build that gas generator before I expanded the room. So, oh, yeah. All right. I can say I think this is the first time we've run into power in quite some time. I mean, besides like, back in the days of manually adjusting the solar panel. All right, let's turn that off. It'll shut all these off. We won't have any filtration going. We shouldn't have anything really. Nothing's growing in the greenhouse, so we're not going to get any oxygen or anything come out of there. So that should basically just be keep recirculating the CO2 in there. Okay, hey, steel sheets, and we probably do have enough of these for now. I have a feeling we probably still don't have enough. The thing is, we can actually go finish off the AC room now. So we got 107. That'll last us a little while. And 11 frames. We're still going to need... Oh, no. Okay, we got 41 frames. Probably need more walls. We'll definitely need more grates. And we should probably... Oh, 5%. Yeah, let's go throw some more coal in there. Yeah, this is why I'd rather have it plumbed to the gas. Especially, well, especially since the gas generator is insanely cheaty right now with the amount of power it puts out. Really? Why did it only charge to 5%? Oh, because the sun came up. Yes. That's right. So, if the... oh, we didn't actually burn that too much. We were actually pretty close to the sun coming up. Yeah, so if anybody hasn't seen the episode, this is our This is our LCD display up top. So basically, it takes however many batteries we add to the system, which we can just do battery count. This is the only thing we have to adjust on it. So if we add a battery, we just up the count one. It'll divide the total storage by how much is actually stored by reading off of the analyzer. And that will give us our percentage of total base power available. So it's a good, it's a good way to keep an eye on it to see if we're using too much, if the base isn't charging, as if we're slowly dropping or slowly gaining. And along with this, it has this section in here, which I think is power limit, generator, yeah, solar override. I think it's these four right here, tie into the backup generator. And if we drop below 20% of the base power and the sun is not up, meaning the solars are not charging, it will kick in the generator and run that until we either hit over 20% or the sun comes up. Because we have quite a few. I think we're up to, I don't remember now, 13 or 15 solar panels on the roof. So we usually get a pretty decent charge. So now that all the ACs aren't running, we should be fine. But I do, tomorrow I definitely will be throwing in the gas generator. Especially, like I said, right now it makes an insane amount of power. And I'd rather save the coal for, we've got plenty of oxygen. We can always go mine more volatiles and nitrates. Oh, actually, I wasn't even looking at, right there. Yeah, so we should, we'll plumb hydrogen and oxygen line down there. Oh, thankfully this does not reset when the power goes out. And did we get we didn't get the sleeper, did we? Is that what we were looking for? Yeah. Oh, no, we did have it. Okay, it was just hidden behind the lovely UI. Hydroponics, sleeper. So we'll go ahead and do the... Now the question is how much of this stuff do we need alloys for that we have not made? We can always skip over stuff if we run into that for now. And there we go. Yeah, I'd love this interface definitely needs some work. Fabricators. All right, slurs. Suit storage. We got that. I don't think there's anything else, unless somebody can think of something that I need for the room. I think that's pretty much... Yeah, that should be it. All right, so we'll go throw some resources in there, and we're just gonna dump out of the other ones for now. We'll get some gold, we'll get some copper, we'll get some iron. And probably need some steel in there too. There we go. All right, we'll let that run, and then we'll see if there's a... I have to see if this is still bouncing stuff off the wall. The stuff was like flying out of here before. Oh, yeah, it's still kind of fast, but not too bad. All right, we're gonna kind of, let's see. Well, cryotube we can go ahead and figure out. Whoa. All right. Oh, do we get to run oxygen into that? Yeah, if you keep them covered, they will cool off. Oh, well, you're talking about using the tanks. That's good to check. I might check that and see if the tanks are still cooling, because we could move the waste expansion tank outside. Um, and then maybe we'll just set it on a valve. So once it hits like a certain, or actually we could do a pipe analyzer set the temperature, and once the temperature drops to like 20 degrees Celsius, we could let it pump into the base. So that would be a way to do that, if the tanks are still cooling. All right, so we got data, power and data. Oh no, okay, power, data, and it looks like gas, which I'm assuming is going to be oxygen, because I can't see needing to pump some hazardous gas into, which would basically be volatiles or something. Well, that's going to be fun. So actually, that's not too bad. So we have it on this end. We've got the tank storage over there, so we can just cut across. And I'm not going to get overly fancy right now. I just want to throw stuff down and see how much space it's going to take. What do we need? Oh, iron. All right, we dumped you out. Oh, there's iron right there. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that and see if that's still. So we get chairs, control chair, and the bench. Oh, you know what? We do need a couple more frames. So where we want. So I was thinking about just having a door right here, and then have. Oh. Yeah, we were gonna push out over to here, so this would be the hallway. So maybe we'll come out like right to here. And then that will leave kind of like this area for machinery. And that might work pretty good. All right, so we'll try to stay, I guess, within that space. So we'll set this here as a reminder. And then we can go ahead. Oh, yes, throw me inside of the block. And let's throw that out there so we don't bury it in a wall. And no, we're not going to fill these in yet because that would make it very hard to get to the machines. Oh, and that's actually going to block it. Okay. And remember, it always looks worse before it looks better. And that holds true in real life too. Yeah, this is an awesome display. Okay, so wow, it actually ran through everything. I was assuming there was going to be something that we could not run. Oh, we need gas for that too. Okay. Well, you know what? I kind of want to have this up against the wall, so we're going to kind of stick that there. We'll move the other one, which I'm assuming is going to need a drill to pick up. Because, hey, everything pretty much takes a drill. Maybe we'll, I don't know, kind of do something like that. The solid generator is actually going to go downstairs. We will stick that over here for tomorrow. The desk, yes. So I think I want to kind of, yeah, we're going to do down here. So we'll have a little hook. We can pull this out. And I think, yeah, I think, where it go? Oh, autosave. I always think like my mouse went dead. All right, there we go. And we can go ahead and stick that up there. All right, so I think we're gonna do, I think in this little section, I kind of like to have, I think we're going to have a way bigger room than what we need. But I want to have kind of like the benches, and then maybe we'll have some lockers and any extra, I laugh, any extra food that we can ever potentially make. Oh, I find that completely hilarious right now. um, we'll go into here. Uh, I don't think we'll have to worry about having excess food anytime soon. And can we just? Oh, of course, you can't actually just set them. Yes, no, yes. Okay, well, we'll leave a space in between them then. On the suit storage, I want to put that in the airlock. Though that could be a potentially really bad thing. You know what? I think we're gonna put. Oh wow. Okay. So I have never built a suit storage before, but we have power. Okay, yeah. We got power, data. Is that supposed to be an O2 line coming in the front and back? Oh, kind of clips right through too, doesn't it? All right, well, we'll just set it down for now. Obviously, yes, it needs power before we turn it on. I don't know why I'm playing with the switches, but yeah, excess food I don't see happening anytime soon. I'm definitely gonna turn off that warning though. That gets annoying. It is nice that they did. You know, I mean, honestly, they should have held off on the whole adding food in until. I mean, they must have known that it's pretty much just completely broken the way it is right now. Which is it's understandable. It's an early access, especially on the beta branch. I don't know if it's come out on the main branch yet. I would kind of hope that they hadn't, saying that the condition that it's, you know, currently in. But it is nice that they added that um, the temporary setting. They added a temporary setting in the update today on the beta branch is you can turn off. So you can one is your default, and if we really wanted to be insane, we could turn it all the way up. But I've got it set to 0, so that's why it's not dropping and it's just flashing that. If I thought about it, I should have just set it. I was hoping before I realized the ACs were broken that we were going to be growing plants in this episode and, hopefully producing some food. Of course, that's been my hope for like the last 3 episodes. But, well, technically, we were growing food. It just all got cooked repeatedly from running the furnace and whatnot. But, yeah. So anyway, they did add this. So that is a nice, and they did specify it is a temporary setting. So obviously they know the food system is, while it's obviously it's the initial kind of implementation of it. It this doesn't really work the way it is right now. I did hear about everybody was on the forums. If you go on the Steam forums and stuff, everybody's like, the beginning of the game now is basically a speed run because it's basically how fast can you produce food, and they literally have I don't know, like 4 or 5 guides up about how you go get like 2 stacks of iron, a stack of gold, and basically in 2.5 hours you can have food produced, so you're not starving to death. I don't know, I was kind of close on that, and we might not actually need this stretch because We've kind of got, yeah, definitely more space than we're going to use anyway. Oh, and now I have to make sure I still have that set to 0 because yes. So, and yeah, since the game does run, it doesn't, actually pause when you do this. Then, yeah, we now dropped from 8% to 7% for me playing with the bar. All right, and I guess, and really, I love that we have 3 machines and the desk only holds 2. So you just have to build a desk so you can have an empty spot on it constantly, which I guess is not necessarily a bad thing, but why not just make a desk that's got 3 spots? Yeah. Well, when they fix the radiators, I do kind of like that idea. And it would get around the issue of we've literally gone right now from one end of the base to the other with solar panels. So um, I can't put any more solar panels up here without either just extending the base, and I can only extend in front of the airlock because the greenhouse, which we obviously don't want to put solar panels over since we'll block the sun. Um, and yeah. Somebody actually made a mod that is nothing but it adds a crate of cereal bars to the starting equipment. Oh, that's okay. It's depressurizing. I really hope they'll do something about this one of these days too, because um, if, I'm sure people have run into it before too. That if you close this door and you have no pressure, you have to dismantle the door or go through a wall to get into the airlock because there's no way to override it. All right, so oop, what am I? Okay, I was hitting on something there. So yeah, we're gonna want those up here. It looks like we just cleared on that gas sensor. I still might move that over a little bit. It's going to be actually buried in the wall. I don't know if that's going to screw with it or not. All right. So yeah, I think we're gonna pull off this one row, and we'll have the room probably right here, because this still gives us some more room to put stuff in. Um, or yeah, and we might do some windows on this side. I don't know. Well, we'll see. And I'm not gonna build a chair yet. Um, no, you wouldn't get. Well, okay, yeah, you would get double from what you would get, but um, it'd be more efficient just to have them tied into the tracking system, so it just moves. Because then that way you would get basically double the power all day long, from opposed to having basically half power, half power. Actually, I should say you would get full power. But oh, with the tracking. Well, how would you slant it then? I thought you meant slanted is in the solar panels. Because right now we can't make slanted cubes or blocks. Yeah, I know. That's the problem. Is there's not. I mean, I'm assuming. Yeah, I mean, you're always going to lose some in the beginning because it's. I don't know. I think they need to make it so that the sun is not such a point. Um, because really, if you have, if in real life, if you had a solar panel and, you have, it's not like the sun's like 20 feet away from you, I mean, yeah, granted, if you're, maybe when it very, very first comes up, if you had 2 of them and they were in line, one would block the other. But as soon as you get up a little bit, then you're going to start getting power from them. Um, and I mean, especially even when you have a tracking system. I mean, look at, solar farms and stuff. When you've got acres and acres and acres of them, you're not really, you can have them pretty close together, and I think just the way the game is set up is the sun is too much of it's too much of a spot, and they need to make it like a wider source, um, that would get around that. Really, I'm just hoping they'll add nuclear reactors, and and then I can just mine a whole bunch of uranium and hopefully not kill myself with radiation. Which I could see my base becoming a radioactive cesspool at one point, or maybe a couple of times. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll do something. I mean, we've already got uranium, so the thought is that it will be in the game sooner or later. I mean, we've got heating, we've got cooling, so you know, hopefully, it's not going to be. I mean, I'd actually like to see him to add like some type of process. I'd like to see because we're kind of basic on we get some alloys. We don't have any like fluids or anything. Um, I'd like to see it kind of go like all Greg Tech and give me like 20 million ores and okay, well not really as many as Greg Tech, but you know what I mean. Um, I'd like to see so then we can actually make like coolant solutions and you know other things like that, and we're not using pollution basically to cool our bases. um, which does, I mean, I can understand why it works because it's designed to carry the heat from the furnace. So, it's, yeah. Um, but, yeah, it's, it would be nice to. And I'm surprised they did the gas generator, which I was kind of really hoping they would make like um, I mean, I could see having a having what am I trying to think of? Like a turbine. I mean, all they had to do was add water, have to have pump water into it, and we could have had just say it's an enclosed turbine, the steam turbine, you know, um, because really, how are we generating power from burning hydrogen, and that's all we're doing, and that's not really that realistic for a game that's supposed to be kind of realistic. So yeah, well, they wouldn't really have to program it in though. They just have to have it say you have to supply it with so much water. That's all they really needed to do. And if it runs out of water, you could make it okay. It overheats, it shuts off, or it overheats and bursts into flames. You know, yeah, and then just make it use so much water per tick like the plants do. You know, I mean, the plants kind of just, it just makes water disappear as the plants grow. So they could have just done it that way. They wouldn't really had to get into, too much. And the good thing too is the water does flood already. They already have that in the game. If you have your base heated and you drop ice on the ground, it will flood. It'll create a puddle. Um, and I don't know how you're supposed to clean it up, but yeah, it will do it. Um, yep, yep. They have it in there. They had to do some tweaks to it because there was an issue of basically people dropping like a chunk of ice, and then they would get well, if you if you had water in your pipes and then like say your pipe burst, then um, it would basically condensate out, and people would end up getting um, puddles on their floors and stuff. And no, I haven't actually made any. I didn't do anything. I actually completely avoided ice until we got the greenhouse up and running, and that is why I have a separate system for gas, um, with an extra input on the outside. Yeah. But that would be, I mean, if they did the turbine and stuff, because then you could do, okay, so now we could pump steam through pipes, you know. There's another way to heat the base besides using electricity, you know. So there's quite a bit of stuff you could do with it. And hang on, I gotta take a drink here. But yeah, my thought was is, and I'm kind of still hoping they take the gas generator, and make it into like a steam generator or something. Yeah, I know. I was trying to do a little bit of cleanup while I was doing it. Um, oh, oh, you go through the series. There's you know, you can learn a lot of not what to do. Um, I usually manage not to blow up the base after every episode. Um, only happened a few times. So let me see. Okay, we're gonna want one there, and I think we're gonna make. I think we do some windows on here. We don't really have. Well, actually, so the drawback with the windows is windows anywhere sun shines in. Yeah, that making the blocks too tall is nice. Besides, it's just like I always say, you have a whole entire world basically to build on. You don't need to make everything tiny and cramped and whatnot. Um, okay, this area I'm thinking I do need to make bigger. I'm just looking at how the machines are going to go in here now. So really, we've only got kind of this, which is actually I think smaller than our current area. So yes, unfortunately, here's the base turning into a cube again, which is as much as I tried to avoid it. And it's going to be interesting now too, because we're going to have the issue of oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm hoping they'll add some more lights to the game. Um, I don't really, you know. We gotta go grab the drill again. Um, which is like right now. There's also a bug right now. Is the sun actually shines through the building. And like I said, I'm surprised they haven't fixed that yet, because it's been here. You can color I don't know if can you color the lights. You can color the LEDs. I'm not sure about the lights. Oh, but hang on. Okay. Can you paint the lights? I haven't actually tried. Yeah, let's make a blue light. Oh, yep. That's it. You paint them. Easy enough. Very nice. Yep. Yeah, that does. I might have to mess with that. At some point, I was planning on going through and painting the walls, but and I was thinking about like doing blue on the bottom and leaving the top white. And at some point, I'm gonna put a ceiling on. Um, but I was trying to debate if I wanted to use the grate for the ceiling as well, or if I was gonna use wall panels for the ceiling. Or I was actually waiting for somebody to make a mod with some more textures and stuff for the ceilings. Yeah, they do have the blinking light, but yeah, my thought was I do want to have kind of a light up here at some point, and I've got to tie in. I don't have any pressure regulations set up yet. Everything's temperature controlled when the base is pressurized. But base pressure, I've just basically been doing manually, and we don't have enough CO2. I think we're only up at, I think we're only up at, yeah, 32 kPa, 30, yeah. So we're slowly gaining. I mean, every time we run the furnace plus dumping from the suit, it builds it up. We're definitely high enough, and this is pure CO2. Because there's a filtration behind this wall that ties in, and basically it constantly pulls from here, dumps anything else back out, or no, anything that's not CO2, it dumps into the filtrations, the main base filtration system. Anything that's CO2, it adds to the CO2 tank, which is also tied to this vent, and dumps back out. So if we ever need to drain it, we just shut that vent off, and it will run everything through, and drop the CO2 back in, and then anything else gets dumped into the filtration. Well, I've saved everything from my tank, but you also actually make it in the furnace. So you get pollution, and you get, and I really wish they would change the reticle to be a different color. And that's me realizing that I have a spot on my screen, and the spot is not where my mouse is. Well, you do. I mean, your waste tank right there, that's CO2. So that, I actually got quite a bit from that. I mean, you only need to have, I think it's 6 kPa. Um, I think it's 6.8, right around there is what the game requires for the plants to grow. And actually, hang on, I have it right here. I can tell you, I get it on the cheat sheet. Um, Minimum pressure is 6.3 kPa in the room. And the higher the CO2 concentration, CO2 to O2, is the number of plants, is, yeah, it bases on the higher the CO2, the basically the more the oxygen. Um, yeah, so you don't need a lot. So you can, and I think I read somewhere, I haven't fact checked it or not, but I believe you only need, like 3% CO2, is what I believe somebody, is what I read. But I just did, I had enough. I think the first time I filled up the greenhouse, which was this big, it's the same greenhouse. I haven't changed the size of it or anything. I got to like 8 kPa, and that was pretty much, I think, just from my suit. I don't know if I'd made steel at that point or not. Yeah, is it the 3%? Okay. All right. Now where were we before we got sidetracked there? So we'll get some walls here, and obviously we're not going to get this whole entire. Of course, my jetpack's critical. Why wouldn't it be? Um, yeah, I was going to say we're obviously not going to get this whole entire expansion done, in this episode, and I've actually probably got to stop. Tank connector. Yeah. Well, heat we're not really having. Oh, that's fine. I mean, it's I actually, it's nice to have people asking questions and whatnot. Um, the what was I gonna say? Well, it's not heat we're having an issue. It's we're generating plenty of heat. I mean, we can get that easy enough. It's the cooling is the issue, and part of it's the radiators are broken, which, yeah. See, we've gained since the last time I filled this to pump it in. We've gained 200 and something degrees. So we were at like 237 Celsius. The last time from me expanding the radiator system and charging it. Um, and the highest I've gotten so far is 687. So hopefully, I don't know. I haven't seen them put out too many updates. Yeah, it's the radiators. That's why it's the pipe's heating up is because it can't. It's pulling the heat out of the greenhouse. I mean, it's working. It's keeping it. I have it. That's the max temperature that it's set at is 37.8. Um, and So, well, the only problem is that it's going to have to be. It's not. I mean, we have a big wall of radiators. It's going to have to be, which I do want to do the test and see if the doing the tanks, if the tanks will cool, um, because that would. Oh, the sun didn't down too long ago. I think we're losing power for some reason, but I can't think of anything extra that would be running now that would be causing us to drain, unless we're just we haven't really charged up yet. Um, oh, well, we don't need a volume pump running 24/7. All right. And did we use all the steel frames? Yes. And I came over here to actually a while ago to get the binding belt. And then we went to the greenhouse, which is, kind of the roundabout way to get there. So, yeah, we're going to. Oh, I think we're just going to go ahead and cube this off. Because, as much as I try not to make a cube, it still ends up being a cube. Yeah, I'm hoping. So I checked on the forums today because on the beta branch they've added. There's actually a. Okay, let me see if I can say this without completely blubbering nonstop. They in the update today they added. There's a workshop shortcut now on the in the menu. Um, so right on the main menu of the game now, you can go in. It will, and you can add on the fly stuff from the workshop without having to close the client and reload the game. That was the other part of the update they did because it used to be you could install the mods and then if the client was running, you had to exit the game and then restart it. So that got to me to thinking is, well, I should go check and see how many mods there are. Well, there's like, if you're not counting, somebody's, I uploaded my base. There's basically like 5 mods, or okay, maybe 6. But of those 6, 4 are the same, which is, of course, one of the first mods is somebody makes it so that every time you mine a stack of ore, it gives you 50. So, I guess if you want the really easy start. And I thought we still had some more. Did I use all the frames up? And I should really take that and put it in here because I'll keep looking at it and thinking it's something. I think we did use all the frames. Unless I stuck some over here when I was changing my tank. Nope. All right. Yeah, so they made a couple different versions. So there's like a 2X, like a 3, 4. Oh, and everything's in the fabricator now. Yeah, that thing like really shoots stuff out. And at some point, one of these days, and I think when we move all this stuff might be a good time to do it. I really got to add stackers onto the machines. Um, oh, we got an autosave. I was like, oh, why did it pause? Um, yeah, because then we won't have big giant piles of stuff. At least it'll. Which that's something else I haven't really messed with yet is the stackers. I've done the okay, well, yeah, I've done it here. What, make it and maze up the piping from the furnace under the base. Mm. Yeah, but I think it needs to be, they need to be exposed to space, otherwise it's going to dump all the heat into the base. So you could, well, no, you would, well, you could, but you would have to leave a stairwell sort of thing so you can get down to keep the base pressurized. And we don't need the, swap that out. Okay. Oh, I don't really want to leave all the stacks sitting there. No, we want this in here. Probably, how much? Yeah, we're going to have to definitely make some wiring and stuff. Oh, yeah. So that machine pretty much dumps everything it makes into the machine next to it. There's just a slightly too close. And yep, see. Hey, yep. All right. Wow, that's going to get really annoying really quick trying to walk through there. Means I should hurry up and get stuff made, right? Yeah, so the mods, yeah, there's like basically 4 or 5 different versions of the ore mod. Um, you know, same person made it. Obviously, they just made different, you know, different amounts. So I guess you can kind of tweak it for how much easier you want it to be. Um, actually, we want to do this side first. We want to get the floors down so we can get the machines moved over. And what else did they see? There was one that there is one mod that makes it so every machine can make everything, basically. So anything that's like fabricator only gets like I would assume the nuclear batteries get put into the electrical um, um, into the electro print, whatever you want to call it there. Um, yeah, the electro print. Um, so you know, for example, and then let's see. So we don't want to go past the front of the base. Yeah, yeah. Well, you can only stack to 50 anyway. So I don't think I don't know if that's hard coded or um, you know whatnot. But if it's not, I'm assuming somebody will make a mod for that as well. Okay, so I think that would be pretty good size. So we'll basically have, you know, a room this big for all the machines, and I would think that that should definitely be big enough. Uh, you know, I say that, and then we'll run out of space. Um, and well, yeah, if it's not something that's like a hard coded limit, which is you never know. I mean, there was what's a good example of that is Space Engineers had some stuff that was hard coded, and you'd be like, why is that hard coded? Yeah, pry bar. All right, let's see if we can get these off of here. Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to tear apart the. Oh, son of a. All right. I didn't want to tear apart the locker. I just want to tear the wall down. I don't like doing that because I still remember when I lost like 200 gold and 200 copper because I dropped it on the ground and then it just decided to. I found it somewhere. I'll always talk about that. I like Stationeers. I've got I don't know, 14, 1600 hours into it. Um, I just, I don't play it as much because I've got 14 or 1600 hours into it now. Um, ran a server for quite a while, heavily modded, usually like 140, 200 mods. Um, but yeah, I just, I only play it for so long before kind of starts to get, the same old, same old. So, yeah, that's a lot of hours. Okay, so yeah, luckily that locker wasn't completely full because that would have been chasing ores for a while. All right, all right, yes, and we still want to print those. All right, we got to get these pulled up so we can and not pull up the other locker. Oh yeah, yeah. No, we'll definitely use them. I'm just gonna let it. It will get to the point where if it can't push anymore, it'll stop the machine. Um, oh, all right. My power just flickered, so if the stream suddenly stops, then it probably means I've lost power. We've got like gale force winds going on and stuff, so it's a bit of a storm. Not really a storm, but oh yeah, you missing a block or missing a because I haven't filled these in yet. I haven't. I'm just kind of. I'm trying to get all this cleared out, so because I'm kind of trying not to constantly walk, and jump around stuff. So I want to get the everything opened up. Okay, wall sections. And all right, let's shut that off for now. That might be pretty good. Nope, we'll probably still run out. That's like the time I made like I don't know. I made like a couple hundred cable, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's plenty, and then I still ran out. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I kind of need the. Well, I guess we could actually just use the fabricator, but I don't really like the fabricator too much. It's too slow and too. I kind of wish the fabricator was like, and it kind of is in some regards. And why was I coming over here for? Oh yeah, we need to drop those off. Um, it is kind of, I mean, I don't know. I like that it can make more stuff. I don't like that it costs, like, the recipes are, basically either cheaper or more. I mean, honestly, just make the recipes the same price. I don't like how slow it is. I find that very, very annoying, especially like if you need, you're doing something like this. And, when I start doing cables and stuff, I'm going to just have it be, spitting out cables, kind of like I'm doing frames, but or the other machine, spitting out pipes and stuff. And the fabricator just takes so long to do to make anything. Yeah, I will get the floor filled in here. There we go. And there we go. I, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out too on some of these, which I know I've said before, is it really bothers me that I weld the frames together and then I use a wrench to pull the sheets back off, you know. Or I place all these wall sections by hand, but yeah, then I have to use a grinder to remove them. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay, let's get all this. And, oh, that is a wall. All right, so, oh, that one. All right, so this will give us, I think, a pretty good size area. It'll be interesting to, yeah, now we really need to get the greenhouse up and going so we can get, before we needed it for food. The main reason I wanted the greenhouse was for the oxygen production, because as it is, filling up the base took me, I don't even want to know how many runs of oxides I did. Um, there we go. That's a little bit better. To get the base pressurized up to, and we're still not, even before we weren't up to 100. Um, and that's even now doing the O2 mixture, or doing, adding nitrogen in. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll kind of rebalance or redo the tooling, because it's yeah, it's kind of wonky. And I'd really like a torch that when I'm not pushing the button shuts off. I mean, if we can send people to the moon, we should be able to make a spring-loaded trigger. And, oh, shoot, went too far. And I think we still have some. I don't know if. Oh, wait. Yeah, we still got to do in here too. Great. Yeah, we're gonna need quite a bit on the. I think more frames. Ah, yeah. Well, there is spiders. Um, unless that was a gag thing that they did. But yeah, they in the dev stream they had space. Sorry, not spiders, ants. They had space ants. Um, I think it's also for multiplayer, so you can, you know, when they make it so that you know, everybody's trying to grief your base and you have to protect it. Um, yeah, aliens I don't know of. I haven't heard. I think they did. If I remember correctly, in one of the dev streams, they did say that they wanted some type, but they. Oh, that's a big hole. I should probably try to, maybe remember that's there. Or put a Q. I'm surprised I have not walked into that. Um, at some point, they have done some tweaks to the generation and stuff. So yeah, I know. That's the first thing I thought of was the cyber dogs from Space Engineers, or cyber wolves, or whatever you want to call them. And I was like, really? I was like, you just can't, make some little alien thing and it's got to be a space ant. I think it was more of a joke than anything. I think they just took an ant model and, you know, made it pretty large scale. Just so I think they really more wanted to show off the how the weapons worked and the targeting, and well, there wasn't really targeting, but how the weapons worked, and you know that the mechanics was kind of there. Oh, did we use up all the frames? Probably. Luckily, we do have 108 steel sheets plus whatever's over there. So we've got a few there, but yeah, we need more frames. And how? Oh, not the electronics printer. How are we doing on steel anyway? Oh, 29. Okay, so we can make about 14 more frames. Oh, I do want to see, okay, so while it's making those frames, if, what did our temperature get up to in here? Yeah, 74. Okay, so it didn't creep up, but yeah, see, so in the, wow, 2 hours that we've been streaming, our radiator system has basically done, it's still basically at 28 degrees. So, yeah. All right. Yep. And now I wonder, well, yeah, I'm not even going to wonder. So, I just not even think about it because I've spent so long, so much time messing on those ACs, and if it was working fine the last time and I didn't need to do that huge expansion, then I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. I guess worst comes to worst. If it ended up not being needed, we have extra capacity, so which is not a bad thing. Okay, so did we really get all the frames done, or did we still have it in here? I think we actually got all the frames done. Okay. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll be able to take some out right there at the top of that. So, wow, 1 or 2, but that's really about it. Very nice. So yeah, this will be a nice big expansion to the base. And I think that's actually the last of our steel. Wow, so we actually have just pretty much enough. Oh, yeah, I have quite a bit. Well, actually, we don't have quite a bit. Where did all the nitrogen go? Because I definitely have not used that much in my jetpack. Yeah, I don't usually use the jetpack too much, but when I'm doing stuff like, you know, up, then I usually do use it for that. But you can actually reach quite a ways. Oh, let me see. Actually, we'll go fill in the floor first. We're not going to want to fill in the walls yet because we're going to have to run some wiring and piping and whatnot. Because oxygen is flammable. That's the reason I use the nitrogen, because it is not flammable. And the only other flammable gas would be, well, you could use pollution, but which I might actually start doing once I can cool it. It's the only reason I'm not using it now is because it's insanely hot. Um, but you know, I don't want to use CO2 because obviously it's a very rare resource right now. Um, though I'm wondering if the gas generator gives off. I have to check that out. I haven't placed it yet. Um, I'm wondering if we get pollution and CO2 from it as well. Yeah, but you know, after the third time catching myself on fire, using my welder and my jetpack at the same time, decided I didn't want to use oxygen for jetpack anymore. Oh, oh shoot. Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't really hurt me, but well, actually, I think a bit, maybe it did a little bit a couple of times, but um, uh, yeah, it was just you know, yeah, oxygen is flammable, um, especially if you're in a pure oxygen environment. Like if you don't have nitrogen to have a high enough ratio. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of why I stopped doing that. And I think I was using volatiles for, not volatiles. Yeah, I don't want to, definitely don't want to use volatiles for the jetpack. Um, I think I was using pollution for a little bit, but it was just too hot because it hasn't been cooled. So and 50/50 iron steel. We can combine those. All right. Oh, so let's see. We need more steel. So we're gonna move all of these and get that out of there. We'll probably move that one first, and then we're gonna move all these. Oh, and we got more steel over there. Trying to keep this not to become too much of a mess. No, and then our wall sections. Okay. And how are we doing on power? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna cover that over. Yeah, I'm really hoping that what is draining all of our power? We should definitely be running, with the ACs off, we should be running a surplus. We should be running a definite surplus. We should be getting full charge. We should be building up to a full charge every single day. Um, something's running that should not be running. And I can't, unless they've changed wattages on something, but they didn't have anything in the notes. I mean, we should be running a definite. Yeah, O2 is yeah. O2 will by itself is highly flammable. We turn pressure regulators off, but those should not be drawing enough to. Yeah, I'm wondering if they changed something. Why is that door closed? Because usually the base should be able to. Well, we don't usually have the computer on, which is 300 watts right there. But the base should be able to idle by itself. I mean, I have it sized power-wise that the whole base should be able to idle. It's down in the basement. We can go run down there real quick, take a look at it. So, O2 is not flammable by itself? Well, wouldn't that be flammable? Well, yeah, you have to have a source of flame. I mean, I don't think the pure O2 is going to, spontaneously combust, but hmm. Yeah, there's something is draining power that should not be. And we're going to go ahead and kick that on for a few minutes to build up. I want to see. Yeah, so, uh, yeah. So definitely once we get the room all finished up, we're gonna put in that super op um, and gas generator, um, which will hopefully be in the next episode. Uh, I might do some behind the scenes work first. I don't know. I try not to do too much off camera, but yeah, Apollo 1. Well, yeah, it was from the fire, but it was also they messed up on the design of the emergency escape hatch, so they couldn't get out. And come on, charge, charge, charge. Oh, actually, we're not going to worry about that too much right now. Yeah, if I remember correctly, they had what was it? It was something about either the way it swung open or the side it opened on. They had safety concerns about it, and they had changed something on it, and um, basically, when they end up having the fire, it basically and they end up being trapped inside. Um, no, the cooling system's actually shut off right now because of the whole radiators not working. So, yeah, this was an expansion here, but none of it's running. And that was draining the power, or so I thought. Everything else was here, and actually, the base has a big enough power supply that all these filters can run 24/7, and we still um, we don't lose power. I'm suspecting that maybe they tweak something, um, but basically the base always is set to idle with um, the filtration system running, all the lights on, and being heating and or cooled. Um, and usually we've got a surplus of power, usually during the day, and with the greenhouse obviously running. Um, I'm wondering if the greenhouse is drawing way more power because the cooling line is over temp, so it's probably having, technically the way I would assume is that the hotter this cooling line gets, the more the AC is going to have to work to cool. Um, but right now, because honestly, that should not be cooling. With as high temp as the pipe is, it shouldn't, you know. Um, and unfortunately, if it keeps going like that, we're going to have to keep an eye on it because if they don't fix it relatively soon, we'll probably have to shut it down um, because eventually we're going to overpressurize the pipes or we're going to have to bleed pressure off of it. Honestly, we have quite a ways to go, but we do run that risk. I took I took that off because when I was having the radiator issues over here, because this was the where I was doing the work on the other system. Um, that was um, that was when I was like, oh, well, maybe there's some bug in the system if you have two wall units hooked into the line. I didn't really think it was, but I was like, I'll just get it one. So that is only, that's just a standard one wall unit. And then that's just the input on it. So I took out, there used to be a three-way curve there, and I took it out. Um, so I don't really see what I'll have to do is at some point is I will unless I left no, that should be fine. Yeah. Um, what I'll have to do is at some point when the sun comes up, I'll have to run the generator, get the base up to full power, and then let it idle. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm wondering. Because we're obviously using quite a bit, and I can't. I mean, I added two volume pumps in, but technically they are both powered off as well. So, and I don't think they have much of an idle. I would imagine. So yeah, I don't know exactly where or what is drawing all this power. Oh yeah, well yeah, we were down to yeah, and I'm wondering if they. It could be because we had the fabricator computer on. I don't know. Um, we'll see. We'll let it run and see what it does. Oh, that's right. I gotta fix this because I missed that section in there. Yep, there we go. Oh, and we gotta charge again. But I should probably add some more. Not that we usually need it, but add some more storage capacity to the base power. We might do that when we're down there doing the generator anyway. I really wish they'd get it so that the batteries were stackable or, some bigger batteries as well. That is true. Yeah, it shouldn't use that much. Though I mean, we basically just ran through 300 steel making frames and plates. So, that was running quite a while. Which maybe that's what, because we're not really dropping that fast. Yeah, so we'll have to see. Because I think usually, yeah, we were hitting like 60s at night. Getting around there, the sun would come up, it wouldn't charge back up. So I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of charge, I got to change my battery. Is my jet back on? Yeah, yeah. The battery, I usually let it go too low, or well, I usually let it get pretty low, since obviously it's right here. Oh, I just noticed that. What is the what is the bar? Does the spacesuit have durability now? I just noticed it looks like there's a durability bar underneath my helmet. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. Huh. Well, the freaking thing's pretty damn durable then. It's probably covered in it's all the duct tape from all the times I've torn it though. That's what's holding my suit together. All right. Let me see. So we are out of steel. I'm gonna make more of that. We could do some welding, but I don't want to stick the walls together until we've got pipes and stuff run. I'm probably gonna have to call this good for this episode. We're actually at 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is about an hour and 15 over. Oh, you can now? Oh, when did they add that in? I didn't see a note on that. I think they sometimes kind of miss some stuff in the notes because you know, obviously I'm on the beta branch, and they kind of have it right there every time. Um, are we supposed to duct tape over that too? Did they give us transparent duct tape to fix that? Or we just use the welder to kind of melt the glass? No. Does it actually? It'd be nice if they made it so it puts cracks across your screen. Okay, so there's all the more reason to have a suit stand and just have an extra suit on it. So maybe we'll do that. Um, yeah, we're still dropping at 66. Actually, did the sun come? No, I don't think the sun's up because we should. Oh, maybe it is up because we are getting the glare. Oh, nope, not yet. Huh. All right. 65. Yeah, see, we're not dropping that. Okay, 65. Well, we just. Oh, wow, we're also charging the suit battery. I'm going to say, okay, that was dropping really fast, but that makes sense. All right. Anyway, we'll call this good for this episode. Um, I'll be doing probably 2 or 3 streams tomorrow. I'll do some a little bit of off camera. Mainly, we've got to make a whole bunch of cables. Obviously, I need. We've got frames. We probably don't need to have enough plates. We might. We got like 100 and something. So, yeah. Well, we'll put that gas generator in. That'll, you know, what is it? Hydrogen, oxygen. So we can. We've got plenty of oxygen, um, and especially with the greenhouse going, and then the hydrogen. And I really don't know why you can't just give us um, electrolysis machine so that we can just split water into hydrogen and oxygen. I mean, I, you know, I don't know, but yeah, yeah. I usually try to do that stuff off camera, so it's, not too bad. Um, yeah, so I'll make a, well, I can multitask on it too. I can be smelting while I have it pumping out cables because I think we're gonna need quite a few cables and pipes. We're down to 30 pipes, and we're gonna need a whole bunch because we're gonna have oxygen, and we're gonna need to tie into the oxygen over here. And at some point, we're going to need to go back through the base and do the filtration line, since we do have the expansion tank in now for the filtration line. We should be able to have more intakes in again. Oh no, it's not going to be that bad. Come on, we built the rest of the base. There's no point in making a small cramped base. I mean, even this, I consider this kind of cramped. I do actually like this room a lot, though. You know what I'm actually going to do, though, before I end the episode, is I'm going to finish off those walls, because that's really bothering me. And, let me see. Yeah, we'll get those done. With circular tank by the cooling system. Oh, the small tank? Oh, you talking about the portable ones? Or are you talking about that one? You talking about the sphere, the small tank? Well, that one's before the cooling system. That actually, that's what the filtration system dumps into before it starts. Or that's what the input on the system. well, you think I need one before and after the cooling? I don't know why we need one after the cooling. Because basically, so what it does is anything that gets dumped into the system, no matter where it's dumped in from, comes in, ties into this line right here, which either, it has this for storage. Oh, okay. Well, I've got ways around that though. So the system dumps in, right? So no matter if we comes from the furnace, comes from the air return, comes from dumping, this tank, um, it, yep. And this runs down through here. So this runs this is basically our expansion tank for the filtration system. So it'll run through here, run through these. It comes down, and because there's a part of the system you're not seeing, um, the filters will run through faster than what the AC can put out. So it basically runs down through the system, runs through these, and then the part you're not seeing is in here. Is these. These are actually, that's where the system ends up in. So it's not just sitting in the pipes. So these are all tied into all the pipe networks. And that's the end of, that's the that's the expansion chambers for the base basically. So anything that's been filtered, yeah, yep. So anything that's been filtered has the pipe, what's in the pipe plus what's in these. Anything that hasn't been filtered has what's before the AC. So that way, because I did run into that, I the other day I had, and it was kind of exciting, but it happened off camera. Is I had a pressure regulator in here, and it was just I got tired of it just taking so long to dump out. So I threw the just a valve in there, and um, hit. I hit the after I ran it. I hit the valve, and this first it overloaded the first filter, and it wasn't the filter actually. It came through the filter. It was the output. So um, let's see. Wait a minute. This is the yeah. So this is the output. So yeah, it backed up basically in one of the other filters, um, and it basically backed up this filtration line, and I probably because of the volatiles, and basically got stuck. And yeah, blew. So that was when I realized, oh yeah, if I dump in a ton of stuff all at once, which made sense because I used to have an air intake on every room, and then once I got a certain amount of, and I don't have the torch on, do I? No. Okay, the temperature is just high. Um, once I had a certain amount of pressure in the base and I drained it, I ended up blowing the return line, the intake line on the filtration system, because it couldn't handle it basically. It blew basically right before every vent because every vent basically was putting in at the same time. Um, as far as I know, no. The two filters is so that like if you want to have a fuel tank, you could technically have an oxygen and a nitrogen, or you could have a hydrogen and an oxygen and pump them both in to one tank. So if you're filtering it out, so like we could mix oxygen and nitrogen together into one tank, or you could mix the oxygen and the hydrogen for a fuel into one tank. You just don't get the control over the ratios because it's just going to pump in whatever it can. Um, it's also good if you want to filter out multiple, so if you want to filter out pollutants and carbon dioxide, then you can filter out both of those. It's because I was doing the welding, and there's It's because I was welding over here and there's no gas. So, and I wonder if it might actually be enough to do it. Nah, it's not enough to do it. Basically, if you add a little bit of gas in here, it fixes it. Actually, that did drop it down quite a bit. Yeah, but it's because it's a vacuum, so it has issues sometimes calculating the heat removal. Um, all right, there we go. Yeah. So anyway, before I start rambling again, yeah, and that was just from flushing the suit because it just added, even though it's reading 0 kPa, we're probably actually, well, no, we're at 0 kPa because we have a giant hole in the side of the base. There's definitely no pressure. um, but well, actually, as slow as it is, yeah. See, ooh, how about I put my mask back on? Yeah, see, we're actually at 5 PA right now. So it's just too low to read because it doesn't really read any lower than 1 kPa. Um, and yeah, now the temperature's going back up. Yeah, so it just I really hope that that's something that they'll work on because it takes so long for if you pressurize from like one area over here, it'll take forever for it to equalize in the base from one side to the other. Um, so, and I don't know if that's an optimization thing or if it's something else going on there. But um, it just takes so long for stuff to the atmospherics to do that. Same thing when you're draining your base. The hunger rate. Um, if you're in the beta branch, there is. I don't know if it's made it to the main branch, but they have under the game setting. They just added it in today's beta update. Um, is you can adjust it right here. So I've got it set to 0 right now since we have no food. Um, but yeah, so you can do that, and it one is the default. So yeah, you just hit your settings. One is your default, and that is the standard. And then you can drop all the way down, and you can do point 0.1, point 0.2, and it'll go all the way up to 4. So if you want to like really kill yourself really fast, yeah, yeah, and or if it's not showing up, then you probably need to do a restart and let the client update if you've had it running. So we are getting a full charge. There we are. We're up at 96 with the sun almost setting. Yeah, that's hardcore survival mode. You basically have to keep one granola bar in a hand. So, you take off a piece of steel off the wall and you got to take a bite of your granola bar. Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna, and I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna call it good for this episode. We've now gone on for another 15 minutes. Um, I will do probably 2 or 3 streams, if not more, tomorrow. Um, it's supposed to be kind of nasty weather, and I'm pretty much gonna be sitting behind my computer most of the day. And oh, wait a minute, sun just went down. What are we at? 99. Oh, yep. We should actually hit 100. Actually, does 99 probably shows as four. Well, we were hunting 100% before. I have a feeling that by the time it cycles another day, we'll hit 100 earlier. Um, yeah, because we were definitely hitting it before. And look, it's even down here. It's 480 degrees. Yeah, so we have the weird climate bug going on again, which is definitely not as bad as it was before. But usually either a restart or just pumping a little bit of gas into the area will fix that. And and yeah. So, but it's definitely. I'll have to see how. Well, no, if we're getting up to a full charge, then we should be all right. It's strange that we're hitting it like right at the end of the day. So I'll be interesting to see if I'll probably first thing tomorrow when I load it up, I'll AFAC in the base for a while without just letting it idle and see if it runs a full cycle. If we get if we get yeah, we do seem to be losing it pretty fast. I'm assuming it's the greenhouse. I'm thinking it's because that pipe is getting so hot that it's making that wall cooler probably run. Um, and I'm assuming that those are set up similar to the AC. Is that the more extreme, like if if you're trying to pull cold off of something that's hot, it's not gonna. It's basically it ramps up the energy cost. Um, and I hate because really I can't think of anything else that's changed. I mean, the only thing else that's changed on the base is um, the ACs that we put on, which are not running. So, and honestly, none of the filtration systems are running right now. So, I mean, we used to be able to run an AC and all the filters 24/7. Um, no, because the AC line would be showing it empty over here, and or it wouldn't be the temperature wouldn't be changing on it. Um, but honestly, none of the lines are there. There's not enough pressure in any of the greenhouse stuff because it's only pressurized to 20 something kp, like 30 kPa anyway. Um, so obviously the radiator's going to keep climbing because they're broken, but that's still not anywhere. I mean, we can get up to 60 MPa on the pipes before it'll even burst. So I don't think there's anywhere that could have burst. And if it did, well, the filtration system's not running, so we're not going to see any changes. Yeah. All right. Wow. No, yeah, I am, and I'm wondering if it's something in the update. I'll have to go through and check on the update notes and see if maybe there's something that's been tweaked or changed. Because yeah, it's definitely running down a lot faster than it was. Um, I could kind of see if maybe it was doing that after like we'd hooked up like all this stuff. Then I can be like, okay, maybe we're drawing a ton of power, but there's not. I mean, we haven't even really added. You know, actually, if anything, we're running one less AC and we're not running the filters. Because even with the logic system, yeah, yeah. Which the only thing that's all the ACs. That's why they're all off because they actually drain the base. Um, but my thought is that it's the greenhouse AC is, which is not an AC unit. It's a wall unit. So that's why I'm not sure. But that's the only thing I can think of is that wall unit um, is using more power because that radiator line is getting so hot. Um, but I think definitely um, when I'm doing my kind of prep work tomorrow before I stream, is that I am going to check and see that if I take a tank out there or if I set one of those small spherical tanks out there, if it does cool still, then that's what we'll do is I'll pump. No, because it's not the AC. It's the radiators that the AC and the wall units are hooked to. I mean, that's what's broken. The wall units and the ACs themselves work. It's the radiators can't get rid of the heat. So, and because the lines can't cool, then it basically the AC that has the effect that the AC has to run more and more and more, because it's not getting the temperature differential to, you know, drop the heat into it. Basically, it has to work harder, which is true to real life. Is, you know, if your cooling line is hot, then you can't put more heat into it as easy if it was a cold cooling line, you know. Um, so definitely, and I might, you never know. It might be one of those things. Is I just do a restart and it'll be fine. I mean, there is plenty of bugs like that I've run into. Yeah, I'll have to check, and I'll test and see. Like I said, I think testing with the small tank is a really good idea. Um, to see if it does cool, or that'll tell us if it's just the radiators themselves, or if it's basically nothing is radiating, um, and that's not what I wanted to drop. So if I take like my waste tank and see, I mean, even the temperature on this should be dropping because this is just sitting in space now. So, I mean, that should be, I mean, everything should radiate some if it's in a lower temperature. Um, so, but I don't know. I'll check with the tank and see. You know, it'll be easy enough to slap one down and um, to see if it does, if it does do anything. Which, see, this doesn't seem to be cooling. So, but you know, we'll test and see. All right. Well, I'm gonna call this good for this episode. Like I said, I'll be on tomorrow. After I do some prep work, whatnot, we'll do a little bit checking things out, and then the plan will be is to hopefully finish off this room, and hopefully that'll just be, you know, most of those machines are just wiring and stuff, so that'll be relatively easy and quick. Um, you know, maybe we'll do this room, finish up all the walls and stuff, and then we're gonna have some plumbing and stuff to run. And really, I guess I want to say we should add AC in to, you know, the wall vents and stuff, and we'll have to. Oh, so there's one issue we're gonna run into is we are pretty much at max on the power system for the wall units. Oh, we might be all right. One, two. No, greenhouse is a separate system. So one, two, three, four, five. Okay, we're all right. We'll just barely be at the minimum. Um, with the circuit, it's going to be really close, because the wall heaters take one kilowatt each. Um, so we can only have, you know, if you have four on, you can have just five on, but we need a circuit to run it. So really, you know, we can have four plus the circuitry, without without potentially overloading the lines. Um, yeah, well, unfortunately, the wall units they don't have a separate data port, so it's got to be the data's got to be on the same. Um, so we'd have to redo the logic circuit again, which is, so we only dropped down to 68%. So that's good to know. Um, this circuit is the base cooling and heating, and I mean we could just replicate it again if need be. Rather not, but um, and it's base cooling, and heating, and then there's a pressure override. So if the pressure drops below 8 kPa, it will not run the wall heaters or the ACs. And we got an autosave. All right, there we go. Yeah. Um, so if we have to, we could replicate that and stick it on a, this wall or something. And then we'll just have to throw in another transformer, which I might have to start sticking some more transformers on. Well, actually, I've got room. Um, it's just a matter of where cables are snaking around each other. I'm really hoping they're going to get a crossover cable so we can, say if you have like a blue line and a red line, um, really they just need to make something that's just got it's not a cable, it's something else. So we can cross over lines and have circuits cross over each other, which would be very nice. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I almost want to just keep streaming for another 15 minutes because we will be at 3 hours. But no, it's long enough. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll get some more stuff done tomorrow. And I definitely want to try to check out the that gas generator. And probably won't be the first stream tomorrow, but we got to get this cleaned up first, and then it'll be on to that. And who knows, maybe they'll have an update sometime this weekend and fix the radiators, and then we can get the greenhouse up and running. But all right, so have a good night, everybody. I'll see you in the next episode.